I wanted to talk about my favorite chapter in this book, which is save. I have always been a frugal person all my life. I grew up in a family that was quite poor. We grew up on a farm, and my parents tried to make it farming and then eventually had to go to work, both of them full time. But I grew up, we had a garden. My daddy and my brother hunted, so we put meat in the freezer that way. We had pigs and cows that we used for our meat, and my mama canned. She canned vegetables. We didn't have a lot of freezer space because the meat went in there, but she canned vegetables and garden items. And I remember being the tomato tester. Canned tomatoes taste so good. And I love doing that. We never ate out. Anytime we went to town, which was about 8 to 10 miles away, it was a big deal to actually go to town. And I would always want to eat at the fast food restaurant, but I always got told we have food at home, which really meant we cannot afford to buy food. We have to eat what we have at home. And that carried over to me being frugal with raising my family and us eating at home because it was so much cheaper. My husband does not like to eat out. And he honestly can make it usually better than the restaurants, and it costs a whole lot less. He took over cooking when he retired. That was my one request because I despise cooking. He took it over and can come up with some wonderful meals, way cheaper than a restaurant. We also make things at home. I like to make my own coffee creamer instead of going to even the local coffee shop. I do like to support them because they are local, but I can't afford to do that every day of the week. So I learned how to make my own coffee creamers and own fancy coffees. I make my own soap. I cannot say that that is cheaper than what you can buy in the store, but it has much better ingredients. If you've got any skin problems, it's much better for your skin. You're not putting all kinds of chemicals on your skin. And I make a couple of other products too that are so much better than what you can buy in the store. Hoarding versus saving. There's a very definite line between hoarding and saving. I have family members that are hoarders. It's part of it, I think, is a mentality that comes from I have to keep it because I can't afford to buy it later. But the problem with hoarding is that you buy something, it gets covered up with magazines or newspapers or other items, and you're like, I know I had it, well, let me go buy another one. So you keep buying sometimes the same thing over and over because you just simply can't find what you bought before, and things just pile up. And part of that is a mentality of I have to buy it or save it because I might not be able to afford it later. So I'm just going to save this forever. And it becomes a huge problem when you don't, move it in and out of your house. If you're done with it, get rid of it, give it away, recycle it, do something with it. But there's no reason to keep it in your house all the time. One thing that I do when I purchase a new car, especially, or something big, once my car is paid off, I keep paying myself that same payment. I put it in a savings account or a money market where I save it for the next vehicle that I purchase. That way, I'm not going to miss it. I will have a nice down payment when I go to purchase my car. I actually just got a new car, and I was able to take that money, have a very nice down payment, and keep the payment the same. Actually, I stretched it out. I had a pretty good interest rate, but I stretched it out a little bit where I'm paying more on my principal, and I'll have the car paid off faster. And once this car is paid off, I'll continue to do that and save for the next one or the next big purchase that we might make. 2 times a year at least, I do a no spend month where I only buy necessities for the month, and don't buy anything extravagant or, the next sale at uh, wherever you may shop. I just stick to necessities for that month. I usually do it in February and August because my car insurance is due March and September. So if I do that no spend, I have a little extra money, and that helps out with car insurance, and it kind of splits it up. In 2024, I did a whole year of not buying clothes. I am a thrift shopper, and that included thrift shopping. I redid my wardrobe by we have a buy nothing page in the area that where people just give away items. I got clothes that way. I got clothes from friends. There were a couple of times that I needed to replace something in my wardrobe, a staple item, and I would ask for that for my birthday, or if I just happened to be out and saw something, I just asked somebody to purchase it for me for my birthday, or if it was close to Christmas. This can be my Christmas gift. I did books last year. I didn't buy any books except for Bible study books or study books that I would need for some of these classes. I used Little Free Libraries. I'm in a book club that where we exchange books. So you just take all the books that you've read and you can walk away with some free books. I use the Libby app because I do listen to a lot of audiobooks, and the Libby app is free through your library. If you have a library card, you can have a Libby app. And I found that was a great way to save money, especially on books. I do have a big TBR shelf, a to be read shelf that is full of books that I can read. But those are some of the highlights of things that I do, especially now when gas prices are so high. You need to think about, where can I cut? Can I cut out the extravagant coffees? Can I cut out eating out? I can eat at home. I take my lunch every day. Luckily, my husband fixes enough portions usually for us to have lunch the next day, which is always very, very helpful. I hope these hints and tips help you. I cannot wait to hear what some of your tips are, because I love to save money and love to figure out new ways to save money.